What is anxiety? To put it simply, anxiety is not feeling safe. So if you're hiking in the woods and suddenly spot an angry mama bear, the threat detector in your brain throws your mind and body into a hypervigilant overdrive as nerves fire, hormones flow, and your heart pounds to prepare for fight or flight. This anxiety reaction is meant to be a friend by warning of impending danger so you can protect yourself. Unfortunately for some people, their threat detectors trigger frequent false alarms, which if severe enough, can become anxiety disorders that make them feel chronically unsafe even when they are safe. So what causes these false alarms? Well, to begin with, the amygdala, the part of the brain that triggers fight or flight, cannot tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. So all of us might experience false alarms at times. However, some people are chronically tormented by false alarms due to genetics, brain chemistry, medical conditions, substance abuse, environmental factors, or some combination of the above. From my experience as a mental health counselor since 1996, many clients with anxiety disorders seem to have biochemical and environmental contributors to their anxiety problems. Medications can help with the biochemical issues, and counseling can help by educating clients about the dynamics of their anxiety and then coaching them in learning new coping skills to manage false alarms. The fight or flight response is automatic and comes from an ancient part of our lower brain, which even lizards have. Unlike a lizard, however, which has no choice but to view stimuli that trigger fight or flight as real threats, we humans have a higher brain that allows us to observe our own brain, which is called mindfulness. Thus, the ability to be mindful allows those who suffer from anxiety disorders to observe and get to know the workings of their fight or flight reactions so they can learn to distinguish false alarms from real threats. This mindful approach to dealing with anxiety disorders is based on observation and acceptance rather than avoidance, which is why it is so effective. How can you learn to manage false alarms if you avoid every situation that triggers them? Well, you can't. So it is more effective to mindfully observe your anxiety and thus come to understand it better so you can eventually see it for what it is, not a real threat, but just an annoying false alarm. But it gets even better, because the regular practice of mindfully observing your anxiety will calm your overzealous threat detector over time by no longer feeding its outdated programming. You see, the more you believe these false alarms, the stronger their neural pathways become in the brain. Conversely, the less you believe these false alarms, the weaker their pathways become, which then stimulates the brain to build new pathways of safety to whatever stimulus is triggering the false alarm. Let me give you a concrete example to illustrate how a brain becomes mired in pathways that trigger false alarms. Let's say you were bullied and teased horribly in middle school, so your threat detector learned to associate people with danger. Logically, you began avoiding people except for a few family members and friends within your comfort zone, and so now you have an anxiety disorder, social phobia. Flash forward 20 years and you still compulsively avoid social gatherings in crowded places even though you haven't experienced any bullying in 18 years. So why do you continue to avoid? Because you haven't given your threat detector enough opportunities to learn that the vast majority of people in the adult world are not bullies, and thus it's safe for you to interact with them without suffering the pain you experienced in middle school. The simple truth about irrational fears is that avoidance maintains them. So if you want to extinguish irrational fears, you have to face them. I hope this video helps you understand how the practice of mindfulness allows you to see your anxiety disorder symptoms as false alarms, which then gives you the confidence to feel the fear and do it anyway with respect to whatever stimuli have been triggering them. In this way, little by little through practice, your threat detector will learn that you are safe to face the old stimuli that helped create your anxiety disorder, which will then significantly expand your comfort zone while decreasing the frequency and intensity of false alarms over time. If you found this video helpful, please click the thumbs up button. And if you want to hear more from me, then subscribe to my channel, Counselor Carl. I will be publishing a new video every other weekend. And if you'd like help in learning to manage your anxiety more effectively, then visit my website, SerenityOnlineTherapy.com, to learn more about me and the services I provide. Thank you for watching this video, and keep paying attention to your life. Until next time.